Democrats on Capitol Hill are raising real and loud security concerns after House Speaker Kevin McCarthy has apparently decided to hand over reams and reams of surveillance footage from the January 6th Capitol riot to Fox News host Tucker Carlson and his associates. The Fox News editorialist says his team is spending the week looking through those thousands and thousands of hours of footage. Meanwhile, President Biden is returning home from his trip to Ukraine and Poland, where he recommitted American support for the two countries as Ukraine sadly marks 1 year since Russia's illegal invasion. For more on this, let's bring in Scott MacFarlane and Weijia Jiang. Scott is CBS News congressional correspondent. Weijia, of course, CBS News is senior White House correspondent. Scott, what can you tell us about Democratic concerns about this video release and what it may portend?
We have a week now where Congress is again arguing over January 6th, more than 2 years later. This is a dispute and a controversy completely of Congress's own making. Democrats had an emergency briefing this afternoon, part of a previously scheduled meeting, where they talked about what security vulnerabilities exist because all this video has reportedly been released by the House Speaker to Fox News, this 41,000 hours plus of January 6th police video. I spoke with a member who was in the room today who says there are two big unknowns. Was anybody chaperoning this Fox News team as they watched all this video? Did they log in or log out? And were they able to record any of it while they were viewing it? No hard drives were given. It was all viewed in person. What Democrats are wondering is how much of it might have been recorded or kept. This, though, is one of those situations, Major, where the journey feels more important than the destination. No matter what is done with this video, the distrust that has been sowed by its reported release may be the most defining part of this controversy. Questions about why would he do it? Why has he not confirmed it or denied it? And what's become of House Republican and Democratic relations because of it?
And was this part of the deal to make him Speaker in the first place?
Was this something those hardliners, those Freedom Caucus members who at first withheld their votes from Kevin McCarthy to be Speaker, demanded? Those questions could be answered if Kevin McCarthy were answering any questions about this. 48 hours later, he hasn't.
For his part, Tucker Carlson says this will be about finding the truth. We're not confused about what happened on January 6th.
Now, we already have at CBS News hundreds of hours of police surveillance video released by the Justice Department as part of their prosecutions in the nearly 1,000 criminal cases that have been opened. It shows rioters beating police with makeshift weapons, with pepper spray. It shows a confrontational mob on the attack. What's left in the balance of those videos? Maybe we find out, but it hasn't been germane to the prosecutions.
House Republicans are also trying to find out more about COVID, its origins, and some early decisions made within the government.
Yeah, we have a new COVID select subcommittee, but this time, unlike the past 2 years, it is controlled by the Republicans. I talked to the chair of this committee, Congressman Weinstrup of Ohio, who says they want to, among other things, explore the Wuhan lab leak theory. They have issued requests for information and documents, including calendars, memos, appointment books from Dr. Fauci, from the head of HHS, from the head of the National Institutes of Health. The agency says it released 900 pages of records to the committee over the past 24 hours, but subpoenas are possible, if not likely.
And for the audience that's not caught up on this, the question is, was research at the Wuhan Institute of Virology linked to what became COVID? And did any federal government money from the United States in any way, shape, or form aid and abet that underlying research? I've had numerous conversations with Dr. Anthony Fauci about this. You can see the answers in the archives of my show, The Takeout. But what are congressional Republicans still curious about?
And they want to know how much money may have supported this, how much American taxpayer money or American contractor money, but also what Republicans are alleging is there may have been some type of effort to reduce, minimize, or cover up whatever skin in the game Americans might have had in a Wuhan lab leak. This is going to be the first order of business of a sweeping subcommittee over COVID.
And there's still some scientific evidence that suggests this is not from the lab, but that occurred in a wet market or some other natural animal to human transmission. All of that can be furiously debated on all sorts of web links and sublinks if you're so inclined. Catch us up briefly on the debt ceiling. What is the current mindset, as you can discern it, of congressional Republicans?
There's a warning from a nonpartisan group that reviews these things, the Bipartisan Policy Center, that the date could move earlier without much warning.
What's the date as we currently understand
It's a little bit rough. It's late summer, early fall. There's a warning it could move up to late spring if tax collections aren't as robust as forecast. And I got to tell you, this Congress does not seem to be in position to move more swiftly on the debt ceiling. Best as we can tell, their negotiations are nowhere. If there are negotiations, if there even should be negotiations, both sides are talking past each other. It's alarming to know that date could jump up faster because they seem to be nowhere.
And the date is not just a moment on the calendar, though it is that, it carries with it all sorts of fraught economic consequences.
If you get close to the date, it comes with economic consequences. If you flirt with the date, like happened 12 years ago, bond rating got reduced. The economy, the stock market took a hit. We're in that territory pretty much effective immediately. That could happen at any moment.
When you think about this, Scott, and you bump into members of Congress as you do every single day, what to you would constitute even a glimmer of progress toward substantive negotiations?
If both parties were speaking the same language. I mean, we're still in this.
We haven't even defined the problem.
Haven't defined the problem. Republicans are saying we want to exact concessions and spending cuts. The Democrats, including the Biden administration, say you don't negotiate over the debt ceiling. It's terribly dangerous. Until they're on the same plane, this is likely headed nowhere quickly.
Very good. Scott MacFarlane, we thank you very much.